Hello everybody, my name is Nick Day. Welcome to NewsblasterJr. So the idea is a bot that can look through different news articles, find out what makes them similar, and then more importantly, find out what the differences are. The basic premise is that different news organizations cover different articles differently, or cover the same article differently. One organization may provide context that another wouldn't. And I guess increasingly relevant, you have politically biased news organizations, or at the very least politically charged organizations, writing articles differently. What NewsBlaster Jr. aims to do is look at these differences, find out what the similarities are, and present those in a neutral summary of a news article, and then explain what the differences are in a way that you can really understand, okay, this organization is highlighting this aspect of this story, whereas another organization is highlighting another aspect. And maybe you can understand why based on the news organization, but at the very least, it's a way of tackling the claims of fake news, where one person can say that a news organization or article they don't like is fake news, but by adding context from different news sources, you can say, all right, this is what's true, this is what's real, and this may be less so. The name of the NewsBlaster Junior bot is inspired by Columbia University's NewsBlaster program. You can click on the link in red on the actual presentation to learn more about that. So let's take a look at this mock-up of a website. So here we have a mock of a newsfeed, some articles that we might be interested in looking at. Today, let's pick, I'm not sure, Jeffrey Lord got fired. Let's take a look at that. So who is Jeffrey Lord? Why was he fired? When you click on an article, the NewsBlaster Junior bot would crawl through Google News or just another network or infrastructure and find as maybe 5 or 6 articles that are related to the topic. Here we have the Associated Press, CNN Money, Politico, The Hill, and the Washington Times. You can see their headlines next to the organization names, so you can see that they all mention that CNN has severed ties or fired or cut ties with Jeffrey Lord. Some articles say that he just made a Nazi salute tweet. Some say he said Sig Heil. The Washington Times adds that it was sarcastic. Basically, you have the basic premise already. So let's continue. Here's the neutral summary. CNN fired conservative contributor and Donald Trump supporter Jeffrey Lord. CNN spokesperson explained why. Lord said he was mocking fascists, and he was originally hired to act as a commentator. So these facts were all addressed or written by every single one of the news articles listed in the previous page. In other words, all 5 organizations agree that these statements are real and true. Let's continue. What are the differences? Here you can see the Associated Press has added some context about Lord's tenure on CNN. He was hired as an on-air supporter of Donald Trump. He used to work for Jack Kemp and Ronald Reagan. He was having a Twitter conversation with the Media Matters president earlier this week, and he called Media Matters fascists and anti-free speech bigots. They also had some context about his time on CNN. He frequently riled CNN hosts, including Anderson Cooper and Don Lemon, fellow commentators, and viewers with many of his statements. He also called the KKK a left-wing organization and referred to Donald Trump as the Martin Luther King of healthcare. So that's one news organization's coverage of Jeffrey Lord's firing. But how are other groups covering it? Let's look at The Hill. So The Hill is a Washington, D.C. based news organization that covers specifically things happening on Washington, D.C. You can see that here they add some context. They say that the Media Matters campaign was trying to fire Sean Hannity from Fox News, and apparently Lord was not happy about that. By the way, these are all quotes, so any typos that you see come from the original organization and not from the bot. I'm looking at advertisers. They add some more context about Lord's tenure on CNN as well, saying that he was generating headlines and viral clips. So let's look at Politico. Here they don't have much. They say that the Media Matters president, Angelo Caruso, called for Lord's firing in the past. Lord has in turn been critical of Caruso and the liberal group, and again mentions that they were playing a fascist game because they wanted Sean Hannity fired. Going to go to the Washington Examiner next. So the Washington Examiner is actually a right-wing organization, and they're the ones who mentioned, or at least stated, that Lord's use of the Nazi slogan was sarcastic. Um, CNN severed ties. Um, they mentioned the same deal about Media Matters, calling for CNN to dismiss Lord. Then they add Media Matters for America quickly spiked to football Thursday afternoon, leading its homepage with a stylized image of Mr. Lord and a CNN background, accompanied by the word "bye." So this is something we actually have not seen in any of the other organizations' coverage. So this is one thing specific and unique to the Washington Examiner. Then they add context or quotes by a libertarian commentator named Julian Sanchez. And you add a quote from there. Anyways, last but not least, let's go to CNN Money. CNN Money covered CNN cable network's firing of Jeffrey Lord. They add more context that we haven't seen in any of the other organizations, so including that Lord said his contract was expected to expire at the end of 2017. This is not the first time CNN has fired someone after firing Reza Aslan earlier in 2017. They also mentioned that Lord is a former Reagan administration staffer, and again add that he was a conservative commentator and pro-Donald Trump commentator who clashed with some of the other hosts and personnel on CNN. So this is 5 organizations. We've seen how they can cover things differently. You can click on any of the links to really see the different coverage to compare. And then once you're done, you can either close the window and be on your merry way, or you can go back and start a new story. And again, this is just a mock of the news feed, so it's not live or in real time, but on the original website, or once that happens, it would be. And that's basically it. Once again, my name is Nick Thay. Thank you for watching.